dropped a little Ray Charles on the world this morning.
I something I thought of last week. I thought it'd be pretty cool. It was actually an accident. I was just in my truck. My playlist was going through, and then Ray Charles go on. Like, man, that'd be really cool to commit to. And I talked to my folks about it, and I got with the teachers here to set it up. And a little keyword, University of, and then it went perfect. So that was really cool.
Mason, I know you don't like the theatrics, but the guy that doesn't like the theatrics brought a really great moment. What was it like? Some people tell me that's worth every lift, that's worth every block, that's worth every rep. When you get up there and you stand up, you unzip your jacket. What did that feel like, man?
I feel like, all the work I've done through, not just high school, but just leading up to it, the competitive, like I told you, I grew up with my dad's instilled to me, having my brother push me every single day, my teammates, coaches, finally having that, just not only me getting to experience it, but all these people who invested so much time into me, and they get to be a part of it.
Guys, I've been doing this a minute now, a few years, and I thought Mason had a really cool way of looking at your decision. It sounds like math. You gave me your 80-20 rule. This isn't the Georgia Tech website. This isn't Georgia Tech, folks. We don't really know our math as well. Can you explain what the 80-20 principle is like for you?
So the 80-20 rule is the 80% the offensive line coach, 20% the head coach. Because you're going to spend most of your time with the offensive line coach. You're going to see the head coach in meetings, in the hallway and everything, but the guy coaching you up as a football player and in life, that's going to be your O-line coach. Because you want to go by who you're going to spend your most time with and how they're going to affect you. So that's the rule I did, the goods, the bads, the pros and cons to my whole recruiting process.
Young people, that is endorsed. That is a very smart way to go about your recruiting process. Mason, you told me a very personal story about why you committed and when you committed. I want to know, when did you let Coach Searles and Coach Smart know? Can you recreate that moment?
Yeah, so I think they knew something was up because they knew my commitment date was this June. And so I called them up. I had my circle come with me, my family, and Ryan Bowers, the guy who opened it up with prayer. And so we went up there. I called him and said, hey, I want to come to practice. I want to come at 4:30 towards the end of practice. I don't want no one come with me. Like, I don't want anybody coming there offer me a water. Just let us watch. And I was there a couple of days prior. So the immediate response to come back, I think they knew something was up. So after that, they got through practice. Coach Sentell said hey to me on the mic as I was walking up in practice. Thought it was pretty cool. Got done with practice, and I had a meeting with Coach Smart. And I wore this shirt to the meeting. And I told him towards the end of it, once we had a silence, I said, hey, you think this would be a good shirt to wear next Friday when I commit? And he just got up and tackled me. So that's how it went.
Coach Smart did?
Yes, sir.
I mean, his shoulders are getting bad, but I mean, did he drop a form tackle on you? What was that like?
No, he just kind of picked me up, which I'm surprised. I was 310 pounds, so it was pretty impressive. But he was super excited. We kept it quiet for the time being in the building because we didn't want word to get out. And then we went over to Coach Searles' office, and he didn't know yet. So Coach Smart knew, but not Coach Searles. And I did the exact same thing with Coach Searles. And I actually had Tate Rutledge in there with me when I committed. So it was pretty cool having a guy, just like me like him, like-minded people all in the same room. And to tell them I want to be a part of their family, it was pretty awesome to be.
So, Mason, I got a lot of words up on DawgNation.com right now, but I want you to look. There's probably 1 million dog people watching right now or will watch it. What type of player is the University of Georgia going to get in Mason Short out of Evans High School in Columbia County, Georgia?
They're going to get a leader and a finisher. I'm going to be nasty. That's just what my nature was growing up, is competing. And having a guy line up against you think they can actually win against me, take it as an insult. So you talked about earlier, like the belly flop thing. That's just what it's going to be. It's a little push after the pile, just don't line up against me again. And go ask your coach to get out because it's not going to be fun. That's what my whole thought process is throughout football. But at the end of the day, you just got to perfect your craft and just be true to yourself. So,
Mason, I want to ask you two things. Number one, I don't know if you noticed that, but the guy who led our invocation today is not only his trainer, but he was also on The Bachelor. So I know everybody that's wanted to see a Bachelor on your bingo card for a DawgNation recruiting special, you got it now. But Mason, I thought it was awesome you put God in the middle of your ceremony. You not only had a word of prayer, but I know your decision came through prayer. I know God is a rock for you. You lean on God in a lot of these times. Can you just share with everybody how you made this decision through prayer and through I guess silence is what you described it to me.
So a big thing with me, this whole world is loud. Just the world itself, but the recruiting world is very loud, and you need your silence. You need a room with darkness and silence. And my silence for me is fishing. So when I go out in the boat in my pond, in the middle of it, I leave my phone in the bank, no problem. Just hear the birds and the toads. That's all I need. And that's where I do a lot of my praying at, because it's so silent. There's no outside noise. And a couple weeks ago, I was praying about it, fishing, and it came to me how I want to make my decision, and it ended up being the dogs. So now we're here.
One last thing, DawgNation. It's in the story, but I know a lot of people don't read the whole story. I want to ask you about your uncle's hat. When Mason prayed, he told me he was trying to ask God for a sign. He wanted to see a sign. And he got a family heirloom as the sign. Mason, tell me about your Uncle Mike's hat.
So after I got done fishing, I went up to the house and told my mama. And after I told her, my uncle passed away about 8 years ago to cancer. He left my mama a heirloom, which growing up, we really weren't dog fans, and neither was my mom. So for him to leave her a Georgia hat, that's kind of iffy. And so she never wanted to tell me that to pressure me into committing. But after I told her my decision, she started bawling, crying, and said, "Hey, look what I have here in this drawer that I've been keeping from you." And I asked for a sign, and that was my sign right there. So I felt really good about it.
DawgNation, you guys should feel really good about it. Uncle Mike is smiling down right now. Folks, that hat even stayed in the drawer when you committed to Alabama, right? Mom never broke that out. It was the time. Everything happens in God's time, I think we're told. Guys, this is DawgNation. This is Big Mason Short, 4-star offensive lineman. He's now a dog. The dogs get their first O-lineman commitment in the class. He's the number 6 commitment in the class. Oh, I know people in the comment section are asking this. Are you going to talk to any other OLs out there about Georgia? Who do you want to play with? Do you have when you recruit, you got to go talk to other guys. Like, who do you want to play with? Who do you want to line up beside with at Georgia?
Coming for you, Sanders. David. That's who we want. We want Juan. Those are 2 great players. As of now, that's the guys I have relationships with, and that's what I'm going to continue. Of course, I'm going to get with my coaches at Georgia, see who they want me to go after, but I'm just ready to recruit.
So those 2 guys, you mentioned David Sanders, the number 1 offensive tackle in the country. That's going to be a heavy Georgia-Clemson battle. Your decision was a heavy Clemson-Georgia battle. Who's the other gentleman you mentioned that you have a good relationship that you want to play with?
Juan Gaston, that boy right there, he's a beast. Big old boy. I got to speak with him a little bit at the Macon Touchdown Club to receive our award. And, he's a great kid. I talked to him for a little bit. And just seeing his tape, how big and how fast he is, that's just what you want in the SEC, especially at Georgia. I'm just looking forward to continuing my relationship with him.
Guys, there's a reason we came down to Augusta to see the CSRA send a guy up to Augusta, from Augusta to Athens. Let's see, your DawgNation recruiting special bingo card. It had a family heirloom. It had a bachelor appearance. He had him calling out Sanders. He said, "I want you, Sanders." We probably got a Brandon Adams chortle in the middle of all this while watching this. Guys, Mason, appreciate it.